Sean McDermott loves this guy as a player. He's had him for all this time. Has a need for safety. And they cut him.
Says a lot.
That's what I'm telling you. They loved the guy. And they tried to cut him last year.
Very interesting point.
Now, I guess they could be wrong.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus podcast presented by Connors and Ferris, Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. We're doing a little recap of, we'll call it free agency day 2. It's Tuesday, March 12th. We're recording this at 8:34 at night. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, as well as share with your fellow Bills Mafia friends. We love it. Over 30,000. We're going to keep this ride going. All right, let's talk about it. The big news of the day, 2 things. One of which early on, late last night, Brandon Beane bringing back Dayquon Jones, a 2-year deal for him, which I think a lot of Bills fans very excited about. Obviously, he was having a fantastic season last year, did have the pec injury that kind of held him back for a bit. But Mike, an important piece for this defense, a guy that other players feel comfortable with, and a guy that gets rewarded for the season he had last year.
Yeah, he's a guy they liked. He's a guy who wanted to be in Buffalo. It's a position of need, all those things coming together. I think a lot of us and a lot of people who covered the team thought Dayquon would be a guy they would target to bring back. You could even tell as other guys' moves were being made, he was commenting on all of them, fully engaged. These are the kind of conversations teams have with the player. He's 33, but he's still effective.
Yeah.
He's still good at what he does. Yes. You know, sometimes they hit 33 and it's done.
Hey, he did say he feels like he's approaching the best shape and mentally that he's ever been.
I can't say the same.
So we need to, we need to be keeping a list of all the people that will say they're in the best shape of their life. So Dayquon got it started. Okay. At least in some form, because you will hear that a lot. I like the move for them. I think we all do. I think he was, like I said, effective in that job. I don't think they're done at defensive tackle because they don't have that many guys on the roster. If any. Right? I mean, defensive tackle,
him and
you've
Ed.
got he and Ed.
Yeah.
So they're going to need a few more guys. But yes, I think this was a good move and a solid move for me.
I think it's another leadership. I think that was my big concern, that when you lost Trey and you lost Hyde and you lost Poyer and you cut all those guys and moved on. This was a guy that I know he hasn't been around for a long time, but he really commands that locker room, has the respect of his teammates. I think this was a big signing. Not necessarily. Sometimes I feel like glue guy can be like a backhanded compliment. Like you're not really like playing at a high level.
Yeah.
But I think before the pec injury, he was playing at an elite level defensive tackle, borderline all pro. Ed loved playing next to him. Linebackers talked about how much better it is when he's there eating up double teams to allow linebackers to fill gaps. So again, a lot of stuff. And I always mess up the saying. What was it that Harrison Phillips talks about with the defensive tackles? That they're fire hydrants? Because the dogs just pee on them?
I don't remember that at all.
You got me on that one.
What was the general thought of it?
Yes.
They do the dirty work. That they're a fire hydrant. Like they're tough to move. Like you can't move them.
Yeah.
And dogs pee on them.
That's
But you do know it's also possible to get defensive tackles who do move and go in the right direction and make plays
towards
I'm gonna find
quarterback.
Yeah.
That is quite a shot or a soundbite. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Jumping off your point, Ed loves him. I think that rapport is huge. I don't think of Dayquon as a vocal leader that we see. Like when I think of him in the locker room, it's not a guy who's the rah-rah guy seemingly from the outside. For me, I feel like he's just one of those players that does have so much of the respect of those guys. He's a quiet leader, but I think that is how he does lead, and that is how he can be authentic in it. And I think the players around that respect it. You don't agree?
No, I agree 100%.
Oh, you have the.
Well, he had one of the best quotes of the season.
Oh,
man whooping a
man.
You talked about having the right mindset going into a team that runs the ball a lot. What is that mindset going into facing a physical team like that?
I mean, it should be the same mindset you have every week, and going there and whooping another man, and you know, at the end of the day, just doing your job. And you know, for me, nothing really changes. But at the same time, play football, take it up another notch and go out there and just continue to keep on whooping another man.
You know, it's funny.
But he is softer spoken.
I was thinking about that today. I was listening to a podcast, and it was very interesting. about analytics, and they were talking about the numbers and the DVOA and all those things. And then I thought to myself, yes, this is very important. But then there's what Dayquon Jones says, just a man whooping a man. Now, there's a lot that goes into playing football, but it starts with that. And that's a mentality that you need to have. All the other things that go around it help a player or help a team figure out what they want to do. But for most of the time, that's what the game is all about.
How many people now are all 22 gurus that sit at home and think they know defensive schemes and all of these things and concepts? And then they know analytics because they're subscribed to Pro Football Focus, and all of a sudden they know everything. And then you just have Dayquon, where I'm like, if you didn't know, it was before the Steelers game where they went from playing the Dolphins in the regular season, which was like playing a high-paced, fancy car offense, to a Steelers offense that was ground and pound and more physical. And I said, like, Dayquon, like, how do you adjust to that? And he gave the quote of just a man whooping another man.
And just continue to keep on whooping another man.
That's what football is.
Von Miller called him the enforcer of the Bills defense. I do remember that from this past season.
So the quote from Harrison Phillips was at the Senior Bowl. He kind of saying, he says that his position is like a fire hydrant at a dog show. You're the guy in the middle right there, and everyone's kind of coming up and pissing on you.
That's
something.
I will say that it's not a position. I'm just trying to take the air out of the room here with that comment. I would say that it is. It's not wild. It's not a stat position. It's not a glory position. Yeah. I said today on the newscast, I said it's not an exciting position. He's not an exciting player when you watch him play. His job is all those things. Now, you're right when you say that he
What was that?
Oh, my God. You are like Pavlov's dog over here. He hears,
sorry.
Dan, right.
Right.
I'm saying you are right in the fact that it is these type of positions you can, trying to make plays. But I would also say that I think you say about leadership, all that is fine. You can lead. The best way to lead, for the most part, is to play and play well. Ed's a better leader now that he's a better player. I think there's a whole interesting conversation about how the leadership is going to change on this team. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you two guys that I think are going to be the number 1 and 2 leaders on this defense. You guys will be able to guess these two. The two guys I think are leading the defense on the field and even vocally.
Taron
Johnson and Matt Milano.
No.
Terrell
Bernard. Those are my 2 leaders on defense.
I see that.
I see it. Now, Milano's an excellent player. Yeah. Bernard is going to be, I think he's going to be he's going to finally get where he should have been last year, which is Pro Bowl. You got to put up some numbers.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be, because of the position he plays.
Yeah.
And I think he has the right temperament. And I think everybody knows there's going to need to be a filling in for the leadership that is missing from the 2 safeties that are gone.
I don't see it being in Matt Milano's personality for him to be a leader like we would expect. I could see with Terrell Bernard, just the position that he's in anyways, getting the Bills into their defense. Yeah. And the way he was so successful last season. You're right. Being a good leader also means being a good player and having other people buy in and believe like, oh, that guy knows what he's talking about. And Terrell Bernard had a phenomenal year out there. So I could definitely see that. And then Taron, jumping off of that, I mean, Taron has been tried and true in this Bills defense.
And he's always, I think, just deferred to Poyer and Hyde. They're gone.
Yeah.
And I think he's right. Who do you have?
No, I just think Milano has garnered unbelievable amounts of respect from that locker room. And like you said, talk is great.
Yeah.
Sound bites are great. That's not what Matt Milano does.
Well, those two guys I just said might be the best 2 players on the defense until we see Milano back healthy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But I'll never forget when Milano talked after that Bengals loss in the postseason. Yeah. And he just said, we didn't have it today. And I remember it was a 13-second quote. And it was like the longest quote I'd ever seen from Matt Milano, who does not want to talk to the media, doesn't want anything to do with it. But you ask other players about Matt Milano and they can't say enough good things. The players talk for how good Matt Milano's game is and the respect.
Yeah.
Olive oil.
I will say that I'm really looking forward to seeing Milano back on the field.
I think every Bills fan is.
Because, I mean, they found something in Bernard, and there's other changes here. But man, if he's healthy, those two as your two full-time linebackers, it's tough to beat that in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a player who will not be in Buffalo. Jordan Poyer signing a 1-year contract with the Dolphins. I expected this. We thought he would continue his career in the NFL. It makes sense for him to go to Miami. His wife lives there. He spends his off seasons there. It makes sense. And I think for Poyer, it's a little bit of that chip on the shoulder, like, hey, I'm going to prove to you that I still got it, and I'm going to see it twice a year minimum.
I think Mike talks about it. It was twice. He got let walk twice by the Bills. And I think that, again, he should be a Ring of Fame, and he should be for the Bills and everything that he has done. But I get it, Mike, that like, I thought this always made sense. We said this or the Giants were kind of the two fits. Good for Poyer. He gets to go home, gets to do all those things. Like, happy for him. It's a hole. It's a hole that this Bills team needs to fill. We know that. And we can get to it in a second, but like, I'm concerned about where I think the secondary is going to go.
All right, we'll get there in a second. Let's go back to Poyer. He went to Miami because he wanted to go to Miami. It's not big money. I will say this. I don't think the tape looks great for him. I think we see a lot of the intangibles, but the every play in and out tape, meaning, you know, he's not that old of a player. He's older for a safety, but there's a lot of safeties out there. He didn't get paid by the Dolphins. He even said to NFL Network,
Cam Wolf.
Yeah, Cam Wolf. He's like, you know, it's not big money, but this is where I'm going to be. I'm happy for him. He's in Miami. First of all, you guys, it's funny. We talk about rivalries, and I just looked at a video of him intercepting the Dolphins and all. He's buddies with those guys. Like, he's down there a lot. He knows them. He respects him. He talks about Mike McDaniel all the time. He wanted to play for that team. He wanted to play there last year and wanted them to pay him.
Yep.
And they did not. And so now they're in a transition defensively.
And he's another year older.
And you're not even inside the room to know that.
I know.
But I'm not saying that he can't play. I'm saying I don't think, how am I going to say this without being, I don't think the Bills are worried about him playing for the Dolphins.
You don't think just because of the insight he has, the tendencies he knows?
Yeah, I mean, these teams know each other now at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think there is a sense.
3 years ago, Jordan Poyer, 4 years ago, he's phenomenal.
There's a lot of tread on the tires for Poyer. But I still think of, you're right, the intangibles, but you look at the tape, and I know people say, oh, like, look at the tape, he's slower, and like, that's why they moved on. That's another reason why, like, that was what they made their moves on. I think there were more reasons than excuses. I think there were a lot of reasons this year why his tape didn't look great, whether that was filling in and doing things he hadn't been asked to do before, or whether that was players being injured around him and all of the adjustments that he had to make.
Sean McDermott loves this guy as a player. He's had him for all this time. Has a need for safety. And they cut him.
Says a lot.
That's what I'm telling you. They loved the guy. And they tried to cut him last year.
Very interesting point.
Now, I guess they could be wrong, right?
Yeah.
He goes down to Miami.
I'm not sitting there saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe they let him go. I understand all those concepts. My fear is, what are you doing to replace it?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get caught with your pants down.
Go ahead.
What?
I know what you want to say.
What am I going to say?
Who do you think they want to replace him with?
I'm fearful that as the safeties continue to go off the market, and we're starting to see them one by one. And again,
I got a lot of names here, but
and guess what? I don't like any of the names.
I like Justin Simmons.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's one of the best safeties in the league.
He's not. I don't know how much he's going to get. Jamal Adams is no. Buda Baker's beaten up. Eddie Jackson's older. Quandre Diggs, Seattle. Jalen Ron Curse from Dallas. Mike Edwards is younger. Like, these are the guys that are out there. Jordan Whitehead catches balls from Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Was that a three
picks in that
interception game?
So there's not a lot of big. I see what you're saying. Like, Are they going to draft a guy, or are they?
It was weird to me how they instantly snatched up Taylor Rapp before he even got a chance to hit the market, because we said, look at all those names. Like,
yeah,
those names are all bigger names than Taylor Rapp.
not big money for Rapp, but yeah,
I know, but still, it was more money than Poyer money, like whatever you want to say it is. Again, they make that decision. My fear is that they're going to go into this season with Damar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp.
I think you can't do that.
okay. I'm with you, and I don't think you like it either.
I'm not saying I like it.
I don't mind Damar. I said I don't think you do. I think Damar on the roster is fine. I think he was an okay player. He has some skills. I think he has pretty good instincts when they make him aggressive when he goes towards the ball. I don't know how I feel of him in the back of the defense.
So here's my thing. When he filled in with Hyde's neck injury, again, everybody says that Taylor Rapp fits better into that Poyer role, and he kind of had to do a lot of Hyde role as a free safety instead of the strong safety. So if you were looking at Taylor Rapp as replacing Poyer, and you can get him to be more physical in the box like Poyer did, okay, then you're kind of looking for a replacement of Hyde, which is the free safety like. Well, that's what Damar did. And when he filled in that season and he played 15 games when Micah went out, he was pretty good, 90-something tackles. And then I know what happened at the end of the season. And it's tough because I was thinking about this when I was like, are they thinking this? Is that what's going through the head, or are they looking at all those names? And it was one of those things where I was going, how much can you take of the preseason tape? Because there were a couple plays where I thought he looked really nice in the preseason, filling the gap, getting in. He looked like a guy that did not go into cardiac arrest on the field and die. Like, he looked like a football player again. Yeah. Where they see that, he has 1 year left in the deal. He has familiarity with the system.
Yeah.
He has started.
And he has started. He has played. Yeah. But I think it's time for them to also look into the draft and draft a safety.
But that's my fear, is that what round because everything we've heard, there's like 2 safeties, and they're both going to go in like the first or second round.
That's what every draft expert thinks. That doesn't mean that's what the Bills think when they're reviewing the safeties. And we do know that these guys are good at coaching guys up and seeing skill sets, because I don't think Poyer or Hyde, or certainly those two, were going to wow anybody.
Nobody thought they were going to be all pros when they showed up in Buffalo.
No, I'm talking about even when they were getting ready to come out of college.
No, I know.
I don't think they were those guys, and look at the way they play. So I played. So we'll see.
What do you think?
I feel like I see the side of, will they go with Damar and will they go with having Taylor Rapp there? But I think you also do need the reinforcements of having another veteran in that position. I think they probably do go through the draft as well, but I feel like it's like what you do at wide receiver. You're going to take a couple chances. You're going to try to sign someone. No, I think the caliber of safety is actually going to be higher than the caliber of free agent wide receiver. But at the same point, I feel like you are going to kind of try to make sure that you're built up at that position, because with 2 guys that are, well, we don't know about Micah Hyde for sure, but we know enough to know that that safety position is going to look very different. And I don't feel super confident in Taylor Rapp. I think that he had a fine season last year. And I think that you're asking him to replace a guy that is tried and true in Buffalo. So I think I do like Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah.
I'm curious if he would come to Buffalo or what that money would be like. But
there
are a lot of names out there.
There are a ton of names. And I don't know what they go for, and I don't know what's left in the tank for some of those guys. And like, you're sitting here going, well, the tape didn't look great for Jordan Poyer, which I agree with. The tape never looks great with Jamal Adams. The tape hasn't looked good with some of, Eddie Jackson and some of these older guys. Like, and again, you're recycling guys. It's like, is that what you want? And I go, I guess my fear is that they're going to go with Damar Hamlin, they're going to go with Taylor Rapp, and they're going to go with like a 5th round safety.
All I will tell you is, keep in mind, it's March. There are so many players that will be available. There's players that aren't free agents now that will be available later. For one reason or another, a team moves on, or they make a deal for a player.
I know.
Or they draft one at a relatively good time, and maybe it is where they're working a veteran, maybe like Hamlin in there, and eventually have a younger player take over. But it's a transition year. There's in that position, there's no question.
And that's the one thing I think that gets, unfortunately, lost because of, I don't know how to say this, because of Damar's story. He is now viewed as that moment
in
his journey. And it kind of overshadows he had a really good year.
Yeah, he
Like
played well.
filling in for Mike. So I
Yes.
think sometimes we miss sight of that. Like the guy had 91 tackles. He was like second on the team in tackles.
Oh, please. We also miss sight of these dip whatevers that I don't want to say because we want to post this. Who, yeah, that's fine. Who think he's only on the team because he had the cardiac arrest.
Or why isn't he starting? It's like, well, he wasn't starting.
Well, that was in the
Before.
beginning.
Correct.
Now you get the opposite. They're like, oh, he's there as a no.
People are like, how come they didn't cut him? It's like, because he's there. Like, and
he doesn't make any
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Again, I just think that like taking a step back and I go, man, they were happy with him for 15 games. The one bad game was the one game that he filled in with Cam Lewis that played the secondary.
What
Or was
that
it
one?
Saran Neal? It was the Miami game.
Oof.
It was the game where they let the 2 deep passes go over top of him.
yeah.
That was the
was
Waddle,
Jalen Waddle,
on
yeah.
3rd and long.
Yeah.
But again, you had Damar Hamlin and I think it was Cam Lewis.
Yeah. I don't know. Did they ever play Saran Neal at safety?
I don't know.
They played him sometimes in the slot.
Yeah.
I think it was Cam Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, I'm fine with Cam Lewis being the break glass in case of emergency. Like, I don't want to talk about him being
He's end of the roster guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they got him back. A low deal.
Yep.
Pride of UB stays in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Do you feel, how concerned are you then? I mean, there's still plenty of time left, but where you're at now, looking
I just don't think they've addressed the position. And I thought we went into free agency going, if they can address it in free agency, then they don't have to
So
spend a high pick.
At the moment we're recording this, this is day 2 of the pre-free agency period in March.
They haven't
zoom
done
out.
it.
Some
They
might
haven't
say.
done it.
Yes. So, I mean, that's why I say you don't know. You don't know how it all plays out, but
Yeah, you don't know who they're talking to right now. You don't know.
it's
how
always
those
trades. I got a lot
discussions-
of glasses. I got a lot of stuff. I got
Yeah,
a lot of
what-
safety. I got 2 pens, glasses, and a phone. Look at this. There you go.
2 pairs of glasses.
2 glasses. Well,
Are they the same prescription?
they're both readers, but these are the Warby Parkers. These are the nice ones that my wife keeps saying, you're going to ruin them, which she's right. Because I ruin all
Jenny
these
is
other
always
ones.
right.
She's always right.
My dad has readers too.
Yeah.
And he's just like you where he says, these are the good ones. Like they're like 6 for a quarter. Like at the
No,
dollars are
That's where my dad.
these are the good ones.
I she's pick them up like this because I just, right. That's the way you're
Yeah.
supposed to, I guess. I don't know.
Well, my dad for the longest time, I'm sure you probably did the same thing. He was like, I don't need glasses. We'd go out to dinner. He'd be like, can you hold the menu back? I'm like, you are insane. Just get
Ben.
glasses. It's not a sign of weakness, sir. My dad is built like a refrigerator, so I think he was afraid.
He's got hands like a catcher's glove.
He also doesn't, I don't know if he knows how to read, honestly.
Wow.
No, I
He
love
ran
my
a family
dad.
business.
No, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he knows. He does, in fact, know how to read. I
Hey,
was
those
just being
retired
sarcastic.
guys, they
Yeah.
just sit around.
Yeah, yeah, he doesn't know what to do with himself. All right, anything else you guys want to address?
Yeah, they still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Well,
still have
as Fate said.
yes. So the other place everybody's waiting on is wide receiver. Now, as we're recording this,
I see
your
Odell.
favorite player in the, I think, left in free agency, Curtis Samuel,
Yes.
still out there.
Still out there.
Odell, I don't see Odell jumping with any. Odell's going to want to go where he wants to go. I don't know if he'd be interested. I don't know if the Bills would be interested. DJ Chark, he's the guy constantly gets talked about.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old. Josh Reynolds is the guy who dropped the ball in the NFC Championship for Detroit, right?
Yeah. Two of them.
2 balls in that game. He's
Yeah.
not a bad player. Again, Marquise Brown is the one with speed. He's 26.
You said you would rather add speed through the draft,
Yeah.
explosiveness.
Yeah.
And we don't know yet if Calvin Ridley, it looks like he's going to wants to go back to Jacksonville. There's that whole thing. They're going to wait because it saves them a draft pick. It would be 2nd, 3rd. And the one thing when I was looking down the rest of these wide receivers is that Chase Claypool is only 25 years old.
Wow.
He has set record pace of ticking people off around the league,
Yeah.
alienating
He's
people.
got that James Harden.
Yes. At 25.
No, he's got that Calvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden just disappearing.
Yeah. So I do think they're going to sign free agent. All right.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Free agent wide
Workers'
receiver
comp.
or more.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to be at what point this will be. So
Yeah. I don't want to OBJ. He's another year older now. So that worries me. Yeah, I like Curtis Samuel, but again, what are you going to pay for a guy that you're hoping is the fourth wide receiver? That's my big thing. You're hoping to find the number 2 wide receiver. You have a 1, you have a 3. You're kind of looking for a 4.
I feel like I don't know. Why don't you? Obviously, through the draft, you want to have a guy could replace number 1 at some point. But
so that's the way I'm looking at when Jenna's saying that. So let's just say they get a really good wide receiver in the draft, a guy who looks like he can be the part and maybe even eventually move up and be considered. You know, we say it like you're designated as the number 1 receiver. You know, but the idea would be to replace Diggs. Wouldn't you want this guy to possibly be the number 2?
Why not?
Whoever it is that you sign? Or is that player not out? Plus, there's also trades. I mean, we got to keep this in mind. There's going to be trades of guys that are under contract. There's no question. All these wide receivers in the draft, all these teams are going to be taking wide receivers. There's going to be veterans, maybe even guys that got a lot left.
Well, there might be guys that are going to wait, that are on that list, that don't sign until after the draft because they want to see where the wide receivers fell and to see
that's true.
Where
who gives me the best chance.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
It's so funny. Sometimes we get so focused on like the team's need, and it's like, yeah, the player also is a free agent, so he gets to pick wherever he wants to go. And he doesn't have to come in and be this number 4 guy.
Most of these guys are answering every call that comes in. Like, they want to get paid.
You want to go Josh Allen throwing you the football.
Yes.
I think a lot of people would look at.
Somebody asked me today, and I was wondering, they said, well, why don't the Bills just get Justin Jefferson? And I thought that would be a good idea, right? Why not? I mean,
just blitz him. just blitz Patrick Mahomes. Just cover Travis Kelce.
Now, at some point during this free agency period before they get to the draft, they need to sign a veteran wide receiver, right?
Yes.
Or somewhere in there to know what they have. So
agreed.
Hey, so I'll say it together. Justin Shorter.
Oh, yes. We have to mention
I thought you were going to say
Shorter.
Justin Jefferson. No. I was like, damn.
We had to get our mandated Justin Shorter reference.
Did you know Justin Shorter?
Yeah. Last year. Don't sleep on him, guys.
I mean,
voice is gone.
Yeah. I think
no, we joke about it, but we never really got a chance to see him.
No, and I think of how beneficial that would be.
Yeah.
If he could become.
But they did kind of hide him on the IR and kept him there the whole year.
Yeah.
When they could have used a wide receiver help.
Yeah.
Andy Isabella.
You guys love Andy Isabella.
I did the story on him in camp. He was the training camp darling also.
If Jenna does a story on you in training camp, you're going to do nothing on here.
I did do an interview with Trent Sherfield.
Wait a minute,
I did Shane Ray.
Who was your favorite wide receiver on this team? Your buddy in Nashville catching the game winner?
Oh, Duke Williams.
You loved him some Duke.
Contact. That was the best story of all time.
Tell that story.
Well, you do all these stories for Mike, you've done 35 training camps. We always joke around like, what day do you start talking about the backup quarterback? And you're like, oh, it's backup quarterback day.
Yeah.
And there's always that day when the players put pads on and you say, or they're going to play another team and you say, finally get to hit somebody that's not their own guys and things like that. And you went up to talk to Duke Williams about it because not many players were available, I don't think, that time. And you had said, like, Duke, what is it going to be like when you finally, what are you looking forward to about playing another opponent? And he just looks at you and looks right in the camera. Contact. was just the best thing. Like, he was a terrifying, intimidating factor. And when he caught the touchdown in Nashville, game winner, Josh Allen's second season, 2019, and I got right up in he's celebrating with the fans by the man, and he's pointing in my camera, and he goes, "You like that?" It was like, I'm like that. It was the coolest moment ever. Of again, really cool story. Guy that did CFL and all that stuff to come through.
Yeah.
I think he's available now.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
If you need
contact. All right. Well, anything else?
I don't think so.
Bueller. So technically, free agency starts tomorrow.
Oh, let's ask NFL Network what we're supposed to name it.
Yeah.
So
you got so
oh my God.
annoyed.
They sit there and go, it's not the legal tampering. What
Yes.
did Raj send everybody an email to say we can't call it legal tampering? That's like somewhat of a cool name. The NFL loves to try to name some stuff like Super Wild Card Weekend. Like,
They love naming everything.
does somebody say that? I just said it, but do people say so? This is now they call it
Pre-legal.
pre-free agency negotiating period. I'm like, oh, that rolls off the
That
tongue.
doesn't fit on a
Yeah.
graphic.
No, legal tampering is cool. Let
Yeah.
it say that.
The
Fine.
oxymoron that is legal tampering.
I
Yeah.
said the league allows you to cheat, and the Patriots don't seem to take part in it.
Well, now
They only like to cheat when they can
So I'm
get caught cheating.
I'm 2 episodes into the dynasty.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Oh, it's so good.
I know it gets worse, and I know it, and I know
Doesn't get worse.
it becomes this Robert Kraft puff piece.
There's a lot of Robert Kraft stuff in there,
But
the
you know
Aaron Hernandez stuff.
I haven't gotten there yet.
I
wild.
want to watch that.
You know who steals the show? Ernie Adams is electric.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's good.
Yeah.
That's
was just-
funny.
And again, anytime I can see old video of Belichick, I had no idea about
That
Bernie
he
Kosar.
spoke.
I had no idea about the Bernie Kosar thing.
Yeah.
That obviously was a factor in that.
Yeah.
I know Bledsoe's talked about his side of the story before. I love that shot of him pregame and the camera's right in his face and he's stretching and he goes, "Why are you filming me?"
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "You're a pretty good quarterback." And he's like, "Yeah, but I got to get on the field." It's like, man, just
Wow.
And then he played in that game, beat the Steelers, and then they benched him again for the Super Bowl.
yep.
And then they traded him for a number 1 pick to the Bills. Buffalo gave him a parade. He had half of a great season. And then the next year at training camp, Greg Williams had to be blowing the air horn to get him to throw the football.
But
Go, throw it.
But that was the Scott Pioli and them
Yeah.
saying they're like, "Look, he looks like a wildebeest and about to be attacked." He's like, he looks like he's terrified. And they just have montage of Bledsoe getting crushed.
Yeah. Bledsoe was a good player, really good player.
The video is so good.
Just
Yeah.
the video, if you haven't seen it before, it's on Apple TV.
Apple.
How
yeah.
about Brady in the dorm room or his apartment with his buddies?
Well, how about it's Lawyer Malloy's place or Ty Law's?
Ty Law. And
Yeah.
Ty Law,
Ty's like, I left
Yeah.
$150,000 there, and he's like, he didn't leave me anything. You're
Yeah.
kidding me.
yeah, and overcharged him for the place.
Yeah,
That is
So-
funny.
I liked all of that stuff. That stuff's really cool.
Did it make you miss football?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my main takeaway.
Yeah.
And the Damian Woody's, I think he's great on TV,
Yeah.
but he said that he's like, the one time Brady spoke to them as like a rookie, and like, you're like, he wasn't Tom Brady. He was
Right.
just Tom. And he's like, "Trust me, guys." And they're like, "That's
Yeah,
cute."
okay.
They're like, "As soon as Drew comes back, you are out of here." And he goes out to dinner with Ty Law and Lawyer Malloy, and he goes, "I'm not giving this up." And they're like,
Okay.
"You're gone, dude." Like, and he just never gave it back.
Yeah.
That was cool stuff.
It is interesting. It's an interesting piece. Like I said, yes.
I think you take
Yep.
it for what it's worth and like take the cool nuggets along the way.
Yeah.
And listen, Kraft did have a lot of success as an owner.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what they've had, and he is a very powerful guy in the league, but it also talks about the cheating scandals and everything else. So there's the negatives in there. But
I want to watch the Aaron Hernandez.
yeah, it was-
episode.
man, that dude.
Interesting stuff.
All
Wild
right.
stuff. All right. We'll have more free agency coverage throughout the week. For Dan and Mike, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
She almost forgot.
You almost forgot.
Well, I was gonna be like, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
You should.
could've.
You should. I don't know. I think I'm getting what Dan has. I swear.
I just have losing my voice because I'm talking too much.
Well,
and,
yeah.
and I'm sure everybody's saying like,
Yes,
yeah,
Dan talking too much.
can
for you.
Dan shut up?
Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up.
What?
All right, Mike, Dan, I'm Jenna. Thanks for watching Buffalo Plus. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks. 2 pairs. What?
Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.